Here is where we left off with the antithesis here. So let's read this together again. So as an action, you can target two creatures with 100 within 100 feet that you can see. You can choose one of the following effects. The two creatures swap current HP totals. The two creatures swap active spell effects. The two creatures swap cumulative equipment damage / penalties. If the two creatures that were selected as targets did not deal any damage to each other, oops, that needs a space, or target each other with the spell effect, the creatures gain a Constitution saving. So next one is the balance with Ugrim Hashwell. So let's see what it says here. So it's supposed to be Japanese for world harmony. Second Showa? Alright, whatever. Hashwell can take the misfortune that occurs within his sphere of influence and disperse it to those that have experienced good fortune, which he believes maintains balance in the world. This was demonstrated when he executed Kang Du, despite the latter's defensive ability, as Kang's good fortune was shifted by the skills of balance tipping. All the misfortune that would occur to him personally is redirected into his Freund's shield. Consequently, all good fortune that an opponent experiences in inflicting wounds upon him will be wreaked back upon them in equal magnitude as misfortune, and the misfortune that he experiences merely gets deflected and absorbed into his Freud shield, causing his opponents to experience even more misfortune.
That's a pretty tight ability.
Yeah.
Like, I love the concepts behind it, but it seems really hard to execute in this system.
It sounds very similar to the antithesis is the problem. Yeah. Reading this off and then translating it to paper. What do you think?
It is pretty similar in my opinion. I do agree with you there, but I think maybe the main difference could be that instead of it being like, let's say, within, it could be a radius that's always active as like activate, like an aura.
Yeah, because it does say sphere of influence, so it could easily be within like a circle that's always around him, and it affects anybody within it. So that can be one difference there, and that's a pretty easy thing. So now we know the range. It's a sphere, because we can just infer that literally to mean a sphere, and that just helps us be like, okay, it's within a range. So we know that. So that's easy to that's the easy thing. So we got that done. Yeah, we got that taken care of. Now it's just more of the effect itself is the problem. So it's giving me here references. Okay, let me go to the first one. 105. And that would be chapter 559, pages 4 through 15. Oops. Why is it doing that now? Oh. Does it not open it up in a new thing anymore? Interesting. Okay. Let's see.
Schrifts are weird abilities.
They are. So, here's the manga chapter. Alright, let's see what he says here. So, my Schrift is B. By taking the misfortune that occurs within my sphere of influence and dispersing it to those that have fortuitous luck and lead charmed lives, I maintain balance. Oh, it's kind of word from the wiki, I guess. I can take all the misfortune that would happen to my own self and redirect it into this shield. But it is a poor match for my balance. I told you, I can disperse my misfortune, and any and all misfortune that befalls me, it is redirected into my shield, which means that the good luck you had in inflicting wounds upon me were wreaked back upon you in equal magnitude as misfortune. And then the misfortune that happens to fall upon my own body, I redirect it into the shield, and rains even more misfortune on you. Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Misfortune in this case seems to be damage. So, whatever damage he took, he can redirect it to Uryu to cancel out the quote-unquote good fortune he did by him giving damage to Hashwell. And then that damage that he would get, he can redirect it to his shield.
Yeah.
And then
kind of OP actually.
Yes, it is. It sounds pretty OP because, well, in most instances that we've seen this, misfortune seems to be damage. So I think we can still allow damage. So let's start out.
Cool aspects, yeah.
Okay. So as an action, oh, I hate when it tries to fill in. You create a 40-foot radius sphere that with you at the center. This sphere moves with you. Any creatures and objects within this sphere are subjected to your shrift. Okay. So he seems to do it pretty fast. So we could make it be a reaction. Yeah, is it like a reaction or an action as well if you want to spend it. It's because it does seem to be doing pretty fast.
Yeah. I think we should scale it down for if it's a reaction just for sake of balance, no pun intended.
Well, these scripts are supposed to be very powerful, so
That's
I'm
fair.
fine with doing that. I can give it to both. As an action or reaction, you can choose one of the following effects. Now, the only problem is wording it because something has had to have good fortune, and something else has to be okay.
Misfortuned?
So, well, something has to, like how he says, like he can disperse misfortune and give fortune around. I think we also need to define what kind of fortune or misfortune. Oh, actually, let's see. If a creature made a saving throw so there's some like saving throws that you make when you like fireball, and if you fail it you take damage, and then there's other ones like hold person. If you fail to save, you're held in place. I'm trying to think of wording that can fit for both, that if you fail it you can succeed again and still negate the effects. If a creature made a saving throw to negate an effect or prevent, to negate, prevent, or reduce
Negative effect?
damage, so negate or prevent an effect or reduce damage and failed the saving throw, they are allowed another one with advantage, since it's supposed to be good. Well, it's supposed to be with equal, so I guess they just get another one with another one. If this save is successful, then the effect ends, or damage they would have taken is prevented. Okay, so there's that. And then it'll be the same way, but worded differently. So if a creature made a saving throw to negate or prevent damage and succeeded the saving throw, actually no, if they just fail it, then they auto succeed on the next one, I think, because they make another and automatically succeed. Make another one and automatically fail. The effect takes place, or they take the damage they would have prevented. Okay, if a creature made a saving throw to negate or prevent an effect or reduce damage and succeeded that saving throw, they make another save. And automatic succeed. Then the effect ends, or damage they would have taken is prevented. they make another save and automatically fail. Then the effect takes place, or they take the damage they would have prevented. They would have reduced. Keep better with the fail save. They take another. They make another save and automatically succeed. Then the effect ends, or damage they would have taken is reduced. Okay. So that's good fortune in regards to saving throws. So I guess we can label them to fortune. Misfortune.
I like it.
Yeah, there we go. So there's one for saving throws. Now, that's just for saving throws, and that's easy to do. The next one is, it could also be damage. Now, the difference with the two, I think, is that it's any damage, and it didn't have to be dealt by someone. Oh no, kind of it does, because this insinuates the balance between the two of them. Do you recall if the household ever redirected damage from someone else and not on him?
Right, what do you mean?
So on here with the battle with him and Uryu, the good fortune is happening to quote unquote Uryu, and the misfortune is happening to him, and they're redirecting it. Has it ever happened when he is doing it to somebody else? Because if not, that can be a good thing of the difference between the antithesis is like the balance is only between the two of them, and antithesis is like anybody, and that also makes antithesis stronger.
I think that actually helps balances. I think you should go with that option. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do with that. So I think we'll so fortune. The other one just swapped current HP totals. This one seems to be specifically with attacks, single instances. If you would take damage from an attack, or spell, attack, ability, or spell, it is negated. And then misfortune. Oh, why is it being weird? There we go. Okay. If you would prevent damage from an attack, ability, or spell, the original source takes that damage instead. How's that sound to you? Does that make sense?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Actually, he can redirect it to somebody else. No, he can redirect it to different people because he's redirecting it to his shield. And then when the shield takes damage, he's redirecting it to somebody else. So it doesn't have to be you. If a creature or object you can see within your sphere. If a creature or object you can see within your sphere takes damage from attack, it is negated. If you would prevent damage from attack, a creature or object you can see within range takes that damage. Is dealt damage equal to the amount prevented. If you would prevent damage from attack, ability, or spell, a creature or object you can see within range is dealt damage equal to the amount prevented. Okay, so that deals the damage. Good fortune with saving throws. Same thing with the top one when it comes to spell effects as well. How would I word it with spell effects? What do you think is a good wording for spell effects?
Magical effects spells and magical effects.
How the wording? What do you think would be wording on it? Give me something. What do you think?
No, not. Would you reckon supernatural might work?
No, not like magical, supernatural. I mean the wording itself. How would we want to get that worded?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because the other one is just swapping active spell effects. Good fortune is when a creature receives a beneficial. That's kind of broad because that's pretty. That's pretty broad. Is it okay to keep it broad? How specific
I think
do we
so.
need to get with it?
I mean, I don't think it should. I mean, the Schrifts seem pretty, I guess, boarded when pretty much for all of them. So I think it'd be fine if you make it board itself.
I think so. Well, that kind of actually ties in with the first one. If a creature made a saving throw, kind of, just not with like buffs or anything. Hoshworld can take the misfortune that occurs within a sphere of influence and disperse it to those that have experienced good fortune. Okay, so someone has to have had good fortune to get the misfortune, and someone has had to have misfortune to get any fortune, it seems to be. But all the misfortune that would occur to him personally is redirected to a shield. Consequently, all good fortune that an opponent experiences in inflicting wounds upon him will be wreaked back upon them as misfortune. And the misfortune that he experiences merely gets deflected. Okay, it's the same thing. Causing his opponent to experience even more misfortune. I think that kind of follows it. If a creature or object you can see within your sphere takes damage from an attack or spell, it is negated. Yeah, so that's the fortune, is that they took damage, negated. And then if you would prevent damage from attack or spell ability, strategies within range dealt damage, and then someone gets that misfortune there. I don't think there's any good way. I'm going to leave it as is for now, and we can come back to that later. I'm going to have to think more on that one.